Hi, I'm Annie. Mom and Dad abandoned me and my sister. We ended up in an orphanage when we were only a few days old. I found a way to live with it, but Roxy was different. She wouldn't let anyone except me close. She often threw temper tantrums. Our teachers didn't know what to do with her. I was the only one who could get her to calm down. I don't want to eat your nasty porridge. If you don't eat, I'll grow up and you'll stay small. Okay, I'll eat. Let's draw Mr. Funny after that. Mr. Funny was Roxy's imaginary friend. She could spend hours drawing that creepy clown.
I don't think anyone will want to adopt Roxy. Now, Annie is the perfect child, so smart and obedient.
A lot of the couples that came to the orphanage wanted to adopt me, but only me. Nobody liked Roxy. They thought she was weird. I knew my sister would be lost without me, and I acted up so people would change their minds about adopting me. Ugh, they have nuts in them. I hate nuts.
We're not ready for this.
Like any child at the orphanage, I wanted to be adopted by good people, but I didn't want to be separated from my sister. One day when we were 7, wonderful people came to the orphanage. Mr. and Mrs. Cooper wanted to adopt both of us.
You have a family now, girls. Your older sister, our daughter, is waiting for us at home.
They lived in a nearby town, so that's where we went. Unfortunately, when we were on the way, the thing I was most afraid of happened. Roxy threw a temper tantrum. I forgot her drawings of Mr. Funny at the orphanage.
Shh, don't start.
You can always draw new ones. No, I need those. She started kicking our adoptive parents' seats. We had to get off the bus a few stops earlier than we were supposed to because of my sister's antics.
It's really coming down. Let's hide from the rain here. I'll buy Roxy a balloon. Do you think that will cheer you up?
I don't know.
I'll be right back. Oh, I have his wallet. Girls, wait here. I'll be quick, okay?
We kept waiting, standing there in the rain like abandoned kittens. People and cars kept passing us by, but no one cared about 2 freezing children. They abandoned us, just like our birth parents. This wouldn't have happened if Roxy hadn't thrown a fit. I got mad, but I didn't say anything to my sister. Soon, it got dark, and I realized Mr. and Mrs. Cooper weren't coming back.
Who do we have here? 2 lost angels?
The man that approached us looked remarkably like Roxy's imaginary friend. Her eyes lit up as soon as she saw him. Mr. Funny, you're real! You're here to take us away to your magic circus, right?
Actually, my name is Mr. Barnes, but you can call me whatever you want. What are you doing here all alone?
Our new parents abandoned us right after adopting us.
So you have nowhere to go? How unfortunate. I let abandoned children stay with me. There's plenty of space at my home. Do you want to come with me?
Yes!
Let's go then.
No, let's go to the police. They'll take us back to the orphanage. I'm not going back there. Mr. Funny will take care of us now. I didn't trust that man, but I couldn't leave my sister either. Mr. Barnes had a big but ugly house. We saw his wife and a bunch of children of different ages when we walked in.
I found 2 more orphans. These little angels are Annie and Roxy. Well, everyone's welcome here. Guys, let's show them how well we work together.
The children set the table and we sat down to have dinner. Everything looked delicious. I was so hungry I could have eaten an elephant.
Holy heck. It's like you have a black hole where your stomach should be. I'm Danny. Welcome home.
Thanks. What is this place?
It's a home for abandoned children. Mr. and Mrs. Bars take care of those who have nowhere else to go.
I looked around. All the children looked happy and seemed to feel safe there. Most importantly, Roxy finally looked happy. I decided we could stay in the abandoned children's home. However, the next morning, I learned an important lesson. Nothing in life is free.
Get up. It's time to work.
What? But we're children.
You ate a lot of food yesterday, Annie. Do you think it appeared in the fridge by magic? Everyone should contribute to help us earn money.
Mr. Barnes brought me, Roxy, and Danny to a house.
It's time for you girls to learn about our family business. Danny will teach you. Follow my lead.
Hello, children.
Good morning, ma'am. Our school choir is raising money for charity.
After that, Danny started singing a children's song. Roxy and I exchanged a surprised glance, but joined him. Oh, that was wonderful. Here, you've earned it. As soon as we left the house, Mr. Barnes caught up to us.
Well done. They didn't suspect a thing.
Wait, did you just rob them?
Works like a charm. While innocent children are distracting the house owners, I get inside and find something of value.
This is wrong.
We're just trying to survive in this huge world, baby. Let's go. We need to visit all the houses in this neighborhood today.
Roxy, I can't do this. Remember? Everyone turned their backs on us, but these people accepted us into their family. We should be grateful and live by their rules.
I didn't agree with Roxy, but I couldn't leave her alone, even if it meant following her down a dark path. That evening, all the children came back home and put everything they'd earned during the day on the table. Some of the kids begged on the street, and some stole wallets from passerby in the central city square. That's what Mr. and Mrs. Barnes called a family business. Do you have a problem with what we're doing, Annie?
I might be a kid, but I know that stealing is bad.
Well, you always have a choice. You could ask the police to send you back to the orphanage, but then you'll have to say goodbye to your sister. And you don't want that, do you?
I don't. But I don't want to steal either. Is there any other way I could contribute?
You could help me around the house.
I was fine with that. A couple of days later, Mr. Barnes asked me to go grocery shopping, and I met someone interesting. Wait, you lost your bracelet.
Thank you. I've already lost something important lately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If you have nowhere to go, I know a place.
What's your name?
Annie.
I'm Sophie. Don't worry, Annie. I'm moving to Chicago to live with my aunt tomorrow. You're a very kind girl. Never change. Keep my bracelet as a memento.
2 years flew by. Roxy adored Mr. and Mrs. Barnes and did her best to get money for them. Meanwhile, I basically became a maid. Chores were more or less all I did, day in and day out. But I liked to walk past the local school and look at the children who went there. I wish I could be like them. One evening, I plucked up the courage and I asked Mr. Barnes when Roxy and I would go to school.
Never. You don't have any papers, and we don't want anyone to start asking questions. Why would you even want to go to school? You already have a job. That's right. No one in this house goes to school. You shouldn't stand out.
But I wasn't going to keep living like that forever. While everyone was asleep, I was teaching myself how to read. So far, I could only read syllables, but I didn't give up. Are you studying again? I am. Please don't tell anyone. Stop thinking you're better than us. These stupid books are useless. Roxy couldn't have been more wrong. Books carried me away to a magical land, away from the terrible reality. I kept practicing, day by day. Fresh pastries.
Can you believe this? She reads like a 5-year-old. Oh, we've gotta post this. How about we film me breaking your nose, huh? Are you okay?
Yeah, this was embarrassing.
Those kids are from a different world. They'll never understand us. Don't try to become one of them. You're in over your head.
However, that incident only made me study harder. A couple more years went by. Reading books under the covers was no longer enough for me. I wanted to go to school. All that was left was to figure out how to do it, and I did it. I've been baking these cupcakes all night. I want to be more useful, so I'm gonna sell them.
I like your new attitude.
In fact, I just needed an excuse to leave home for the whole day. I gave the cupcakes to the first homeless man I saw and walked straight to school. Luckily, no one paid me any mind. I blended into the crowd and I hid in a random classroom. And now I wait for the classes to start. I was interested in everything the teacher was saying. To my surprise, the other children didn't seem as eager to study and were being very noisy.
Nice one. Bobby, quiet. We're starting a new topic.
He's as dumb as a doorknob. After the classes came to an end and everyone left the classroom, I finally got out of the closet. Someone forgot their phone.
Where did I leave my phone? Hey, guys, you're not gonna believe it. That weirdo broke into school and stole my phone.
What? That's not true.
Get her.
Like a ninja, I left the school through the window and ran away from Bobby and his minions. They were much faster than me, but I knew that Danny and Roxy would be robbing passerby in the city square at that time of day, so I headed there.
What kind of cowards are you to chase a girl around like this? Oh, look at this wannabe knight in shining armor. Control your girlfriend. I'll make her regret being born if I see her again. What happened?
I told him the truth. Danny frowned when he found out I'd gone to school.
I won't snitch on you, but quit doing dumb things.
I think studying can open a lot of doors for us.
Open your eyes. We're just unwanted children. We don't have a future.
Danny's words gutted me, but that was just the beginning. That evening, everyone put the money they'd earned on the table again. Mr. and Mrs. Barnes didn't think it was enough.
Annie, where's your cupcake money?
I didn't sell them. Stray dogs took them. She's lying! While we were all out making money for the family, Annie was hanging out at school. That's right, she went there to study.
What? How dare you break the rules of our house? You're not getting any dinner tonight, you ungrateful girl.
They screamed like plucked peacocks for a long time, but it was my sister's betrayal that brought tears to my eyes.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not good at comforting girls, but you're right. We could be more than a bunch of thieves. I'll get us money and we'll get out of here, I promise.
At least Danny was on my side. The next morning, I was about to start on my chores as usual, but Mr.
Mr. Barnes suddenly said I'd be helping him to rob houses. Danny ran away last night, and now we don't have enough people. That little brat. Whatever, we'll just find another homeless kid. I don't know what upset me more, that Danny ran away without me, or that the Barnes didn't care enough to find out what happened to him. Roxy, it's time for us to get out of here.
Why? This is our home.
Don't be a blind duck. The Barnes don't like any of us. We're just free labor for them.
But they gave us a roof over our heads. No one else cared about us. Even Mr. and Mrs. Cooper abandoned us.
I've been biting my tongue for years, but enough is enough. They abandoned us because of you. My whole life went downhill because of you. If I just left you, I would have been adopted by good people ages ago.
Oh, is that how it is? Fine, then leave. I don't need to be looked after anymore because I have parents.
We had to put our fight on hold because Mr. Barnes demanded I come with him. Does everyone remember the plan? You pretend to be a school choir, and I sneak in and rob them. Now, which house should we start with? That one's long abandoned. We won't go there. Now this one seems promising. Follow me. I'd had enough. I fell behind, broke the window of that abandoned house, and climbed inside. I'll stay here for a few days until I figure out what to do next. Early the next morning, I was woken up by a strange noise. I looked out the window and saw a van pulling up to the house. Movers started pulling furniture out of the van and carrying it into the house. I freaked out and decided to hide in the attic until they'd left. Soon, I got bored and opened a box full of dusty things. Inside it was an old photo album of the family that used to live in the house that I'd broken into. That's Mr. and Mrs. Cooper, and this is probably their daughter. Wait, I've met her too. That's Sophie. I was so lost in thought, I leaned on a hat rack and it fell to the floor with a loud crash. I heard a noise. Is anyone here? Who are you? Wait, that bracelet. I remember you. You're Annie. I also recognized the grown-up Sophie and eagerly told her my story from beginning to end. Your parents adopted me and my sister, but they abandoned us that very day. So you're one of those girls. Annie, there's something you need to know. On that rainy day, my parents were hit by a car. Unfortunately, they didn't survive.
What?
My heart sank. I suddenly remembered the police cars and ambulances that drove past us all those years ago. So that's what happened. Mr. and Mrs. Cooper didn't abandon us. They died. The police found the adoption papers, but you two disappeared without a trace. Now I know you lived with those Barnes bastards. After Mom and Dad died, I moved to Chicago. I grew up, got married, and decided to move into my parents' old house with my husband. Sophie was moved by my story about the abandoned children's home. That same day, she went to the police with her husband, and the Barnes were arrested. All the children were sent to an orphanage. Everyone was on cloud 9. Everyone except Roxy.
What have you done, you idiot? We'll have to go back to the orphanage because of you.
No, you won't. My parents wanted to welcome you into our family, and I'll fulfill their wish. Annie, Roxy, my husband and I are adopting you. For a while, my sister refused to accept it, but then, surrounded by the love of our new adoptive parents, she flourished and turned from a prickly cactus into a beautiful rose. I finally got to go to school. Sitting at the desk made me feel like the happiest child in the world. I didn't even care about Bobby's dumb threats. Smile while you can. I'll teach you a lesson after school. I also thought about Danny a lot. I wondered where he was and if he was doing all right. After classes, Bobby and his friends cornered me again. Your knight won't save you now. That's where you're wrong. I'll always watch over Annie. Don't you dare mess with her or you'll regret it. This is not over. Danny, where have you been? I ran away to earn money and come back for you, but the cops caught me and sent me to an orphanage. I like it there. I go to a different school, but it's not far from here, and I heard that you and Roxy are doing well too. Yeah, we were adopted. Of course. I knew Bobby wouldn't leave us alone. Moreover, I'd probably get in trouble or get grounded or get detentions. But all children go through that, even you. And you too. Learn to treasure the simple things in life, guys. There are a lot of children in the world who can only dream of them.